Hey everyone! Today we're going to be looking at how to do teletherapy on the CarePaths EHR. We're going to be going over the steps of how to connect to the system, both as a therapist and as a patient. In doing so, I'm going to be connecting to both at the same time, essentially setting up a telehealth session with myself. And if you want to try this on your site with a test patient, this is also a great way to test whether the telehealth system is working okay on your end. First, let's make sure that telehealth is enabled on our site. We can do that by going to the admin menu in the upper left here, clicking on it and selecting Settings, and then going to this Messaging tab right here. You're then going to want to look for this Enable Teletherapy/Video Chat option and make sure that it's checked. You can see it is already checked on our site, so we don't need to do anything. However, if you were to come to this page and find this box unchecked like that, you're just going to want to click on it to check it, and then hit Update Settings. Now let's go ahead and log into a chat room with a patient. To do that, we're going to go back to our home page, and then we're going to go to our patient profile. So let's go up here to the search bar in the upper right, search by patient last name, and let's use Joe Test Patient for this. You're then going to want to look for this drop-down menu beneath the patient header, click on it, go to Messaging, and then you're going to click on this video button right here. That's going to put you into the chat room, and you're most likely going to see a pop-up like this from your browser that's going to ask for permission to use your camera and microphone. You're going to want to go ahead and click Allow there. And there you go. You can see that I'm now in the chat room. I can see a preview of myself right down here. Now, if you enter this room and you see this preview without getting that request for permission from your browser like we saw, that's okay. Everything's working fine. You're probably just set to allow by default. However, if you can't see yourself and you don't get that request for permission, then you're going to want to check and make sure you're not set to block by default. You can do that by clicking on this little lock icon right up here in the URL bar and looking at these settings right here. You can see that currently my camera and microphone are set to allow because we just allowed them. However, if they're set to block, then you're going to want to edit that and change it to either ask or allow. And you're going to want to do that for both your camera and your microphone. Then you can just reload the page to make sure that those settings are taking effect. Alright, now let's look at how we can make sure that the patient is set up to log into this system. I'm going to go back to this drop-down menu. I'm going to go to Membership, and then I'm going to right-click on it and open this link in a new tab. That's going to allow us to keep this teletherapy session open in this tab while also working in other areas of the patient chart. So if I go up to that new tab I just opened, that's going to take me back to this main patient profile page. I'm going to click on Account right here or down here. Either one takes you to the same place, which is this page that shows you the username for this patient right here. You'll also see a blank box for password, and if you don't remember the password that you originally set up for this patient when you created their account, this is where you would go to reset that. You would just type in a new password right here, and then scroll to the bottom and hit Save Record. Alright, so now that we've got that, let's go through the steps of how the patient's going to log into this system. So we're going to take that username, and then we're going to go to the Chrome menu, and we're going to open a new incognito window. Normally the patient's not going to need to do this, but since we're currently logged into the system as a therapist, this is going to allow us to log into the same site as a different user. So from here on are the exact steps you would give to your patient. They would go to app.carepaths.com. They're going to sign in as an existing user since they already have a username and password. They're going to put in that username that was on their account page and that password that you set up for them and click Login. And that's going to bring them to the patient portal. You can see there's a lot of different options in here, but what they're looking for is this teletherapy button right here. Clicking on that is going to take them into this same chat room where they get this same pop-up that's going to request for permission to use the camera and microphone. They're going to click allow as well. And there you go. We can see that I am now connected as a patient. This is the preview right here. And if I was speaking to a therapist, they'd be showing up in this larger box right over here. You can see it looks pretty much the same as it does for the therapist. Preview box right up here in the left, and then who you're talking to in the larger box here. I'm just connected to myself right now, so I'm showing in both boxes, but normally, of course, you're going to see different things in these two boxes. When you're done, you can just hit the back button in your browser. That's going to take you out of the chat room and close your camera and microphone, and you're all set. So those are pretty much the basics of using the telehealth system. Keep an eye out for some more videos we're going to be having coming out on this topic. We're going to cover how to do billing for claims for telehealth, since a lot of insurance companies like you to do things a little bit differently in regards to billing codes and service location. We're also going to be covering troubleshooting the telehealth system. Hopefully when you try this it just works, but there are a variety of settings in your browser and on your computer that can interfere with the telehealth system. So if it's not working for you, we're going to give you some options of things you can look at to try and get it up and running. Alright, thanks for watching everyone, and take care.